the first time that in India we are hosting an international conference of pensioners and retirees on behalf of Trade Union International Pensioners and Retirees. We welcome you all, and I request Comrade V.A. Nambudiri, the patron of NCCPA, Comrade D.K. Devanath, General Secretary of All India Postal and RMS Pensioners Association, and Comrade A.K. Ghosh, the member of Trade Union International P&R Finance Commission member, to be in the Presidium and conduct this conference on behalf of all of you. Thank you, comrades.
Welcome to all. First of all, we will move the resolution on martyrs from the chair. This second Asian Regional Conference of Trade Unions International Pensioners and Retirees, being held at Trivandrum, pays its respectful homage to all the martyrs who gave their valuable lives for the emancipation of the mankind and the working class. 1 minute silence. Comrade K.G. Jayaraj, General Secretary of the Organization Committee and Executive Board Member of Trade Union International Pensioners and Retirees, to give the welcome address.
Respected Presiding Comrades, Comrade V.A. Nambudiri, Comrade D.K. Devanath, Comrade Ashok Koshi, distinguished guests and delegates, comrades. Hearty welcome and revolutionary greetings to all of you. So, today we are having the International Day for the pensioners and the retirees also. So, this conference is coinciding with that also. So, you know that Trade Union International and Retirees was formed in 2014 only. The formation of this international organization is based on the decision of the World Federation of Trade Unions in 2011 in its 15th Congress. Why this has been formed? The World Federation of Trade Unions rightly felt that a very vast majority of the working class and also the pensioners and retirees are not at all organized. Very minority is only organized. The WFTU strongly called upon the organized section of the workers that it is your duty to organize the unorganized section. That is how in 2011 WFTU decided to form a separate organization for the pensioners and retirees. That is how our first Congress at Barcelona was held and our organization took birth. And the second Congress was held at Bogota in Colombia in 2019. Now the third Congress is going to be held at Athens in 2024 April. So before this Congress is held, all the regional level conferences has to be completed. Now our second Asia conference is being held today, and with the African regional conference is going to be held in November, and with that all the continents will be, regional level conferences will be completed, and then they will go to the third Congress to Athens. So what is the intention of this formation of our Congress? WTV has correctly analyzed what is the position of the retirees and the pensioners in the world, particularly in the capitalist countries. They are also being exploited like anything. Once upon a time, Comrade Kumbio is our General Secretary has stated that the former IMF chief, Mrs. Lagarde, has stated that these people are simply waste. They are non-productive. So they are a burden to the community, society. That is what that madam told. So this is not only the opinion of the Mrs. Lagarde. It is the opinion of the whole capitalism. So against that, the socialist countries are taking care to the interest of the pensioners and retirees. For example, in Cuba, some of our leaders and also Comrade M.A. Baby have several times visited Cuba and has experienced that how much care is being given to the aged people there. That is the difference between the capitalism and the socialism. So what is the solution? Solution is fight it out. Nothing else. Struggle has to be conducted in everywhere, wherever this exploitation take place. And finally, the capitalism has to be abolished. It has to be defeated. In that place, a socialist government has to come to the power. Then only the interest of every section of the common people, whether it is old people, young people, students, everybody, interest will be taken care of. So that is what is the main challenge we are facing now. Main challenge is nothing but privatization of pension. It started in the United States of America and it has spread to almost all the capitalist countries now. Why? The IMF and World Bank is dictating terms to the capitalist countries. You have to implement such and such things so that your economy will recover from the crisis. What is that? You have to cut down the salary. You have to cut down the pension. You have to cut down the expenditure of the social expenditure. You have to cut down the expenditure of the health, public health. All these retrograde measures are being enforced to the capitalist governments which they are bound to implement. Very few countries can resist this. That is what we are experiencing in our country also. In 2004, the then BJP government under the Prime Ministership of Sri A.B. Vajpayee introduced a contributory pension scheme called, at that time it was New Pension Scheme. Later it was renamed as National Pension Scheme. At that time we were telling everybody, this is going to be a big challenge before us, so we have to resist it. We resisted to a certain extent. I don't think that it was with all our might. We resisted. But that was implemented. Even the parliament was not taken into consideration. Even in state governments, with an executive order, it was implemented. Now, barring West Bengal, everywhere the state government also implemented the new national pension scheme. So what is our experience now? How much we are getting? Now some people have retired, particularly those posted from combustion ground. How much they are getting? If a regular employee was to get in the old pension scheme to get 28,000, now the national pension scheme, one when retired, he is getting only 1,200 or 1,300. Even the Kerala government is giving pension at the rate of 1,600 per month to 65 lakh people. Whereas our pensioner who have been put into service for 12 years, 15 years will be getting 12,000. This is what is happening. This is the pity of it. So we have the struggle against this old new pension scheme has taken some momentum now. Almost all the state government employees, central government employees, under the able leadership of Comrade Shivakar Misraji, has intensified that struggle. Still it is going to be held. So after these struggles are going on and election is round the corner, some state governments, about some 7 state governments have come out that we are abolishing this NPS and we are bringing up this old pension scheme. Because of compulsion, because we are all a vote bank also. Some 20% of the population is the old people. So they know that this is a sizable number and they may revolt and we may lose also in the election. That is why some state governments have some reconsideration and take it. And now the central government also has appointed a committee. What committee? A secretary level committee. What for? To examine what progress can be made within the national pension scheme. No scope at all. What progress can be made? And there is no time limit in the terms of reference. So it is very clear that the aim is only the 2024 election, nothing else. They want to cheat the pensioners that we are going to do something, you vote for us. You think about it, if the BJP again voted power in 2004, what is going to happen? They are going to intensify the attack on the retirees and pensioners and the workers. No doubt about it. And there is a provision in the PFRDA Act that even we people are enjoying the old pension scheme, the benefits of old pension scheme, and that even can be taken away by an executive order. This government will go to any extent. That is our experience. That is what is happened. That is the main experience. So that is why our TUI P&R General Secretary is very particular that we have to fight it out everywhere against the private sector of pension. In every country that fight is going on, whether it is in Britain, whether it is in France, whether it is in Italy, everywhere fight is taking place. So in India also, we are all part of that struggle. What for we have held this Delhi rally on July 21st by NCCPA? One of the main demand is to bring back the old pension scheme instead of the national pension scheme. We are also fighting. So WFTU and also our TUI P&R is giving due weightage to our struggle. They have specifically mentioned what struggles are going on in India. They have congratulated us for taking out such struggles. So, comrades, I don't want to take much time of it. We have got time strains also. So, CGHS. What happened to CGHS? CGHS is a public health scheme, part of the government public health scheme. What is the policy of the government? They don't want any public health scheme to flourish. They want to privatization of the health scheme also. That is why the government is gradually reducing the expenditure on the budget. Comparing to other countries, it is very, very low. Even our neighboring countries are having much more amount is being incurred for the health schemes. So there is one country, we should not forget it about it. one country, Bolivia, that Parliament of Bolivia has prohibited private pension. How many people know it? We were also not knowing because the entire media has blocked up it. They didn't say anything about it, the media. So we were also not knowing. Only when Comrade Kimboist told that this Bolivian government has passed a resolution prohibiting private pension. So such governments also are there in the world. So, comrade, there is no other alternative but to fight it out only. That is the only way out, but as I told in earlier also. So, comrade, so we are very happy for getting this opportunity to host this second Asia Regional Conference of Trade Union International Pension Secretaries in Kerala. Why Kerala has been elected? Kerala has many peculiarities. This is the only state where there is no communal violence. You can go anywhere in the midnight also. Nothing will happen. There is no discrimination against the minorities. Everywhere, everybody having equal rights here. In our constitution it is there. But what is happening in other states, I don't want to go to the details. But very, very disturbing news are coming every day. No days is passing without a rape. No days is passing without the attack on minorities. This is what is happening in the India. I don't think that there is much difference in other Asian countries also. Not about the communal violence, but as far as the attack on workers and pensioners, there may not be much difference at all. So in Kerala, it is the first state. The people of Kerala voted a communist government to power in 1957. That tradition is going on. Now also a left government is here in Kerala. And it is the first in the history of Kerala, a second time, continuous term is getting for the LDF. Why? The LDF government, in sharp contrast to the policies of the central government, which is pursuing aggressively the neoliberal policies, here it is an alternate policy. How can welfare activities can be extended to the poor people and the common people? That is the aim of this government, without compromising on any development. Actually, the government is going ahead with the building a new Kerala with a vision to 2040 and 2050. What should be Kerala in 2050? With that vision, the government is going on. In a nutshell, it is an alternative policy being implemented in the Kerala by the LDF government. So, comrade, I am starting to my responsibility. See, we have got our preceding comrades. Comrade V.N. Nambudri, I need not introduce you. He is a known figure, very respected leader, veteran leader. Not only the BSNL or central government, everybody knows him. And he is the patron of the NCCPA, advisor of AABDPA, and president of the Senior Citizens Welfare Friend Association also. In so many capacities, he is 86 now. Still he is a young man in mind and very active. So, I wholeheartedly welcome comrade V.N. Nambudri. We have comrade D.K. Devnath, the vibrant leader and general secretary of the AIPRPA in our presidium. I heartily welcome Comrade Debnath. Comrade, we have got another leader, Comrade Ashokant Ghosh, who is the leader of the West Bengal Coordination Committee of the Pensions Association and also Coordination Committee. Yes. And also he is the Financial Commission member of the Trade Union International and the Territories. I heartily welcome Comrade Ashokant Ghosh. Now, our most respected leader, Shibagaval Misraji, is here among us. Very, very busy. General Secretary of the great organization, AARF, our NCC President, taking out so many issues of the pensioners and the employees in the JCM staff side and fighting like anything. Comrade Shibagaval Misraji, very hearty welcome on behalf of the organizing committee and on behalf of all of you. Now we have got Comrade Shivkumar, a very young leader, General Secretary of the All India Defence Employees Federation and also National Secretary of the ATUC and the Deputy General Secretary of the WFTU. I heartily welcome to Comrade Shivkumar. Now we have got our Asia Coordinator and Secretary General of NCCPA, Comrade Raghavendran. So I heartily welcome Comrade Raghavendran and Comrade Swastika Das Gupta. She is our AABDPA Vice President and also the member of the Women's Committee of the WFTU TUI. Hearty welcome to Comrade Swastika Das Gupta. And now, Comrade, this August conference is going to be inaugurated by Comrade M.A. Baby. He will be reaching within a few minutes. You know, we are very fortunate. So we are very fortunate to have him as to deliver inaugural address because he is a veteran leader of the communist movement in the country, Politburo member of the CPIM, and also the former Minister of the Education and Culture. So he has travelled a long, visited so many countries, particularly the socialist countries, and a special bond with Cuba also. So I wholeheartedly welcome Comrade M.A. Baby, even though he will be arriving shortly. Now we have got our chairman of the Resident Committee, Comrade V. Joy. He also will be coming along with the Comrade Joy. So now, Comrade, now we have got our distinguished delegates from Nepal and Sri Lanka. From Sri Lanka, we have got Ceylon State Staff Union's leaders. Comrade Robert Francis is General Secretary and also Nishanda Vanyancheri President. On behalf of the organizing committee, we want to honor him by giving a memento also. Please come, comrades. And Comrade Logananda Gautam, Vice Chairman. Comrade, you are to be in the front there. Why you have gone back side? Please come. Now we have got the Indian delegates, the cream of the Pensioners and Retirees Association in the country are here. Even though we are limited in numbers, the cream is here. I wholeheartedly welcome all of you, comrades, for coming here and attending this August conference. And I have to thank and welcome all our organizing committee members because they have made this conference successful. I welcome all those comrades. And once again, extend a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you, comrades.
Respected members of the Presidium, Comrade D.K. Devnath, General Secretary AIPRPA, Comrades Ashok Gandhi Ghosh, Financial Commission member of TUI and senior of CGPA West Bengal, respected Comrade M.A. Baby, former Kerala Minister, Education, PB member of CPIM, and who is connected with world trade unions, including the socialist countries, Comrade Shivgopal Mishra, President NCCPA, General Secretary ARF, and Secretary Staff Side JCN National Council, and one of the most respected leaders of the trade union movement in the country, Comrade V. Joy, MLA, who is the chairman of the organizing committee of this conference, Comrade C. Shri Kumar, General Secretary of WFTU, and also General Secretary of AIDF, Comrade KG Jayaraj, General Secretary Organizing Committee and Executive Board Member of TUI, Comrade Swastika Das Gupta, Women's Commission Member of TUI, Comrade V.A. Mohanan, Secretary Organization Committee, and all respected leaders who are present. It is our fortune that though we have invited almost all the trade unions in the Asia Pacific region, due to visa problem and other issues, only 2 delegates from only 2 countries could come, who have been honored by the conference just now from Nepal and from Ceylon. And here, more than 100 delegates from the various pensioners organizations, senior citizens associations are present here. When we are sitting here, I was thinking that everybody should be here. In the Presidium, this stage, everybody should be here. You look into each and every face. They are leaders of the movement for 40-45 years of various trade unions, given magnanimous service to the nation, to the workers, went on so many struggles, who has been arrested, jailed, punished, dismissed, terminated. All those people, they are the gems of the organizations that is throughout the country. I need not mention each and every organization. Your service is being appreciated by not only by us, but your continued workers who are in each and every department, in each and every organizations. They remember you with respect. You are all Bhishma Pitamaha. Bhishma Pitamaha is the trade unions organization in this country. So we respect you. We are unable to bring everybody on the stage because there are certain situations. But on behalf of the organized committee, on behalf of the Presidium, I respect you all, and I also welcome you all to this August conference. I will not speak much because Presidium should be very brief. The Trade Union International, has been formed in Barcelona in 2012 by the World Federation of Trade Unions. World Federation of Trade Unions have affiliated organization in the way of Trade Union International. It may be Trade Union International Communications, Trade Union International Public Services. Like that, there are 7-8 organizations of Trade Union International. Till that time, the necessity of forming a Trade Union International for the pensioners and retirees were not thought of. There in the Barcelona, the first organization took the initiative of the WFTU. We discussed, I had the fortune to be one of the delegates to that conference. We discussed about the issue. World Federation gave the direction that it is time to form a Trade Union International for pensioners and retirees also. In India, we will think, why you are telling pensioners and retirees? Why not only pensioners? That is sufficient. There is a reason. The reason is pensioners get pensionary benefit. There are so many persons who retired without getting any benefit from the government or that organization. They are retirees. Not only that, we have got people in the various other sectors than the government employees, public servants. There are people who cultivate the land. There are other sections of working people. So all these, including all these people, those who are retired, that is why the retiree also is included. On that basis, the organization has been formed. In the initial organization, there were about 40 countries and about 80 delegates. They expressed their various opinion, how the old and seniors are being treated in the country. And in that country, I remember about almost every country told that pensioners' issues are very serious. Whatever benefit they were given earlier, it is being taken, especially in the developed countries. After Second World War, the pensioners were given better benefit. But now it is all being taken in the way of globalization period. But there was one country. All the delegates were women, 5-6 women, very old that way. But they told that in our country, we are the most respected, honored section of the society. It's a very small country. A very small country which has been facing 60 years of blockade by United States of America and other countries connected with, that is Cuba, Socialist Cuba. And in that Socialist Cuba, they have separate hospital, very advanced hospital for the seniors. I have visited there. I was surprised how the senior citizens, that trade union, pensioners and retirees are being treated there. One more thing, there is a university for the older persons. A university. So there the seniors are very much respected. They said, we are able, we have got on our own club, and they danced also. Even though they were very senior, they danced here the conference. Very happy, they told. We are very happy that we are in the Socialist Cuba. So there is a difference. The difference in the COVID period also you must have seen. In America, the principle was, when the COVID came, when the vaccine was less, it was told, anyway the seniors are going to fade away. Today or tomorrow they are going to fade away. We should give the vaccine to the younger people. In India also there is a move, but it was stopped. But in Cuba, what happened? In Cuba, they not only attend to their cases, and about 40 countries, they send doctors and nurses to treat the COVID period. That is the system, the difference between the social system and the capitalist system. So, in that conference of trade union international was formed, and we have got members of that, 3-4 members who are members of the trade union international here, including Comrade Raghavendran, Comrade Jayaraj, Comrade Swastika, Comrade Ghosh, our presidium. So we have got a very good representation also in the trade union international. Now, world over, as I told, pensions, in India also, there's a big problem. Our leaders will speak. Just like Comrade Shivagopal Mishra, who is discussing these issues with the National Council, they will speak. There are other organizations also will speak. But in India also, we are going to fight against this. Very serious fight is going on for the OPS. NPCS, no pension scheme. We want to get it back, as already Comrade Jayajara has told us. That is done. And these are the things I will not proceed because the presidium must take very, very less time. So, once again, on behalf of the presidium, one thing more I would like to, we are holding this conference in Trivandrum, the capital city of Kerala. The reception committee chairman will make mention of all those things, but he has not come so far. So I am thinking, in Kerala, the elder persons are being respected in a very big way. The left-wing government in Kerala, headed by Comrade Pinarayi Vijayan as Chief Minister, here we have got a Vayojana policy, elder policy, number one. Pensioners are being given, those people below poverty line who don't have any subsistence, who are above 60 years, is given 1,600 rupees pension. The senior citizens organization, their representatives are also there. We have demanded at least 5,000 rupees will be given to, should be given. Government has told that every year we will increase it and make it to 500. We have got the Vayojana Council. The minister will be the chairman, and we, representative of the senior citizens organization, we are members. We discuss and decide about the issues. We have got maintenance tribunals in the each and every district, where the problems of the senior citizen pensioners are being brought, about humiliation from their children, about other issues. All these issues, the maintenance tribunals are being treated, and remedy found for that. And we have got at least 20 schemes for the older person, including, you may laugh, the state government want you to laugh, those who don't have the teeth. Even that tooth set is being supplied by the government of Kerala. Not about health, free medicine, a lot of other issues are there. If I go there, it will take a long time. So Kerala left government, just like what is happening in Cuba, it is entirely different. It is a socialist country. This is only a state within the Indian nation. So with that limitation, maximum benefit is being given to the senior citizens and elder persons. So we thank for the Kerala government for doing this. We would like in many other states also this may be happening. We do not expect, We hope that when they speak, they will mention. I once again welcome all. And Comrade M.A. Baby, who is to inaugurate this, he is attending another meeting. The former Home Minister of Kerala and the State Secretary of the CPIM, Comrade Kodiyeri Balakrishnan, he passed away last year on this day, and a memorial is being, and he is to address that thing. So he will be coming immediately, but we will not wait for him because our time is most precious. So we will continue our programs, and when he comes, he will inaugurate this conference. So we need not waste this. So with these few words, once again welcome you to all on behalf of the Presidium. Once again I thank you, and we want to conclude the conference, giving everybody an opportunity to speak, every organized opportunity to speak. And also by evening, people might have booked the tickets, etc. We want to finish by 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. So that way we have arranged the conference. And on behalf of the Presidium, we request all of you to fully cooperate with this conduct of the conference. Thank you, comrades. Now, I request Comrade Shivgopal Mishra, President of the NCCPA, Secretary of the National JCM, and a very senior leader of our organization to address this August conference. Comrade Shivgopal Mishra.
Comrade Ghosh, Comrade Devnath, Comrade Shri Kumar, Comrade Raghavendran, Comrade Shostika, and our young comrade KG Jairaj. They are two really young comrades. One comrade who always inspires me, he is Comrade Nambudri. All the comrades who are here in the hall, particularly Dr. Lakshya Singh, the representative of the Nepal, and the who have come far from the north to extreme south. So welcome Dr. Lakshya Singh and other comrades from the Nepal. Similarly, our comrades Nisanta and their General Secretary from the Sri Lanka, who have come to attend this TUI AP conference. So a lot of thanks to all of you. Our comrades from the SRM is also here. If I will not welcome them, then they will say that since last night I am with them and he has forget to me. So I also welcome you in the conference. Our comrade Haridasan is there. He had been a stalwart in our National Railway Mazdoor Union, Central Railway. So he is also there. So Gopi, Anil, everybody, Dr. our Labas is there. Many comrades to whom I know personally. If I will take their names, then it will take a lot of time. And Comrade Nambudri has told me that there is paucity of the time. So I have to be in the limits. Comrades, it's really giving us a lot of encouragement that you have hold this TUI conference in the today in Trivandrum, and you have invited us to attend this conference. So I'm very much thankful to the organizers who have invited us. Though today was a very such a day that in Uttarakhand, our joint front of restoration of old pension scheme, which we have formed in our country. 30 organizations are there. So their state rally is there. But I told my colleagues they will be there, All India Defence Employees Federations, income tax people, state employees, teachers. They are today demonstrating at the Dehradun, the capital of the Uttarakhand, just for the restoration of the old pension scheme. But I thought that it is important to be with you. Comrade Jairaj and Comrade Nambudri has told you the conditions which we are facing in our country. And since you people are representing your unions and associations in the various parts of the country, I know that you all understand what problems our pensioners are facing today. What's your problem we are facing today? That is all because of the policies of the governments. Unfortunately, the government may be of the Congress, maybe of the UPA, maybe of the NDA, their economic policies had been the same. In the last NDA government, they issued a mandate, a order that the old pension scheme should be scrapped and NPS should be imposed. Without making any law, without making any act, without making any rules. And in the Congress government, they have implemented the PFRDA. So we cannot say that this government have done something and that government have done something. I really sometimes accuse to my comrades that if they would have not gone away and should have not been thought that they should be away from the government, supporting the government, this PFRDA and the old pension scheme would have been stayed. But it is unfortunate that our comrades have taken their support from the Manmohan Singh government, and that was the reason that they got this chance, and that is the reason that BJP is in power. So sometimes we take also such decisions which used to give us lot of pains in the last. When we analyze that how we could have been saved from this onslaught on the pensioners or the pension of the working class, then we realize that this is the one of the reason that the government have got the free hand, where the governments which are the supporting the capitalism, they are got the chance and they impose this new pension scheme on the working class. This is not the issue of the only service people. The issue of those who are not getting even the pension. Kerala government is one government which is looking after them, at least giving the 5,000 rupees. But there are the governments, they are giving the 1,500 rupees at this age. And the similar situation is in the NPS. People are getting, one lady, one day, there was a meeting, we are opposing this, from the joint front of the restoration of old pension scheme, and one lady came. She said, I also want to say something. In front of the DRM office, Delhi. So we called her. Yes, Didi, you must come. She said, I have retired at the basic pay of 30,000 rupees. And I am getting my pension only 516 rupees. She shown her paper. So not 1600. People are getting 400, 500 rupees. How they will survive? And the government says that it's a very, what they are doing for the everybody, sabka saath, sabka vikas, sabka vishwas. This is the slogan of my Prime Minister. Where are these people? Pensioners, where are the pensioners? उनका विश्वास कहाँ है? उनका साथ कहाँ है? So this is all. Comrade Dambu said that yes, I am representing 36 lakhs central government employees under the banner of National Council JCM. I am secretary staff side. My comrade Shekumar, he is also one of the very, I can say that always stood with us. In all sort of arts and difficulties, he used to be a very helping hand. And All India Defence Employees Federation, like All India Defence Federation, is one. Those who are working together. So we are all socialist comrades. We are thinking of the socialism. We are thinking of the equality. We are thinking that everybody has a right to survive in this country. That may be farmer, that may be a worker. He may be a central government employee, he may be a state government employee, he may be any employee. Everybody has right to survive in this country. But the government has policies now that they are quite against the pensions. In this, when we put pressure on the government, our people are demonstrating at all levels. 1.25 million people have given the petition to the President of the India. And in that, everybody has supported, NCCP has supported us. We have taken torchlight processions, we have demonstrated in a massive way on the state capitals. And recently on 10th August, we had a historical rally in Delhi. More than 2 lakh people, they demonstrated on in the Ramlila ground at the Parliament of Delhi. So comrades, people are quite angry. We have a lot of issue. But out of that issue, restoration of old pension scheme is one which I think that we should keep in our mind. I am very happy that many of our pensioners organizations, they have come forward. When I told them that simply going to the demonstrations will not help us. We have to fight with this government. Comrade Baby is here. Give him a big hand. भाई ये तालियां तो इनके लिए कम है, प्लीज. So comrades, on behalf of all of you, on behalf of the TUI AP, on behalf of the NCCPA, on behalf of the NCJCM, on behalf of All India Railway Federation, I welcome both of you in this August gathering. So I got this opportunity, so I took a chance. Otherwise, this was the job of my elder brother, Comrade Namudri. So thank you very much. I will not take much of your time because our comrades are here. I know their time is very important. But since I am with you, I have to say a few words more. Comrades, we have already decided on 10th of August that we are going to fight with this government under on a particular issue for restoration of old pension scheme. And on 20th and 21st of this November, we are going to take a strike ballot on this particular issue. And after strike ballot, we are going to give a notice to the government for a strike. And this strike will not be only a strike of the railway, or the postal department, or of the income tax, or of the defense civilian employees. This strike will be of the state employees, teachers, corporation employees, bank, Bima employees, everybody all together. So we are heading for a total Bharat Bandh. I am happy that our pensioner organizations are with us. When I told them that we are heading for such a big movement, a big strike, they said, don't worry, we are there. If they will take us to jail, we will go to jail. If they will fire, we will be in the front of our youngsters, children, boys and girls. We will save them. So I salute them. आप सबको बहुत लाल सलाम है कि आप सबने बहुत भरोसा देने का काम किया है और आज इस TUI की कॉन्फ्रेंस में when we are meeting all of you, I hope that what pledge you people have taken, you will really stand behind our fighting people like rock. I'm very thankful that comrades who are here from the other countries, from the Ceylon, from the Nepal, they are also facing the similar circumstances. But at least I know that in Sri Lanka, they have a better system. Even in the capitalist countries, they care for the old people. After retirement, they take their care. They have other way to take money from those who are serving. But at the time when they retire, at least they take care of them. But I don't know what sort of these governments are in our country. They talk too much that they are for the people. But when we see, then they definitely are quite against the pensions. They have made the Niti Ayog, they have made a small committee. And some economists are there. They are, not only they have taken our pension, but they are working day and night how to snatch the pension from the pensioners. If you people will not come together, you people will not unite, I am very sure that this government is going to snatch your right of pension tomorrow. So in this international conference, I hope that all the brothers and sisters throughout the world, they want to live a quality life. And quality life cannot be possible without a pension. The pension has given you the prestige, not only in the society, but at the house also. Whosoever is getting pension, they might be knowing that in house they have a lot of respect. The day when you come with the pension, all of your family members, they used to be very happy. Even small children, they used to be happy. Even all women folks in the house, they used to be happy. And you have got a respect in the society. So if government want to take your prestige also, your prestige is also at stake. So we have to fight on this issue. So far your issues are concerned, we are always fighting for that. Recently, we had our standing committee meeting of the National Council JCM. 40% items were belonging to you. FMA, they promised 2 years back that they will give you 2,000 rupees. Now we raised our demand that it should be 4,000. Now they say, okay, we will think and we will try to give you 3,000 rupees. But where is that? हमारे यहाँ लोग कहते हैं कि Ganges has come down, but that has gone to the heirs of the Shankar, Lord Shankar. हम गंगोत्री से गंगा निकाल लाते हैं, लेकिन वो शंकर जी की जटाओं में चली जाती है. ये जो शंकर जी की जटाएं हैं, वो हमारे लिए बहुत प्रॉब्लमेटिक है. Similar situation is with the commutation. Many of the states have given the commutation in even 12 years. Even which has been said always from the top of the house, Gujarat formula, which is ruining the country nowadays. There they say that there also they have implemented 12 years commutation formula. Punjab, Telangana, many of these states. But they are simply sitting. In the last standing committee meeting 1 year before, they said that okay, they will implement it, they will give you after 12 years. But still that is in the process. So comrades, I will not take much of your time, but at this stage I will just ask all the comrades that when this country is on such a situation that the poor people will survive or not, the pensioners will survive or not survive, your pension will be safe or not safe, your future, what is going for your future. We are fighting for your medicines, for your CGHS system, for your health, which is more and more important when you are growing old. So government is privatizing everything. They have privatized health, they have privatized education. But when they are privatizing health, it means that if you have money, then only you can survive. So these are the situations. So you have to think that in coming future, such a people should be in the power or not. I believe that you people are the young comrades who are sitting here with the rich experience. You are the people, those who are stalwarts in your fields. You have fought the many battles. Now a time has come that you people should stand together and prepare for another battle with the government. And such government should not survive at the helms of the affair, which are anti-people, anti-workers, anti-farmers. They should not be there. So, comrades, I hope that this conference will resolve that we have to survive in this country. And survival in the country will be only with our unity. That may be serving class, that may be farmers, that may be workers of the country. But if the capital is uniting, it has become essential that we should also unite. Capital is not uniting for the betterments, capital is uniting for the exploitation of all of us. So this is our duty, that we should also get united and fight with the evil designs of these government as well as the capital. So with these words, I thank you very much. I have taken some of your time. I hope that the NCCPA and the other organizations, they will stood together and will fight with the government and will achieve their demands, particularly restore the old pension scheme. Thank you very much, comrades.
Thank you, Comrade Shivgopal Mishra. As leader of the staff side Secretary of the National Council, you have been taking up the issues of the pension in a very long way, and you have mentioned that. Thank you very much for coming and addressing this August conference. Now, Comrade V. Jain, Chairman, V. Joy, MLA, Chairman of the Reception Committee, and Comrade M.A. Baby, former Minister of Kerala, PBM member of CPIM, and a very international figure who has gone to almost all the countries and participate many international conferences. Both of them are here. I welcome both of them to this August conference. as I have earlier told, and they have been welcomed. They have been attending a very important meeting or memorial meeting of a former minister and state secretary of the CPM, Comrade Kodiyeri Balakrishnan, and also today is the International Day of Elders, October 1st, which is being celebrated all over the world on the issues of senior citizens and elders. So they had a lot of programs. That is why they were a bit late to attend this conference. I request Comrade V. Joy MLA, who is the chairman of the organizing committee, to give his valuable address to this conference. Comrade V. Joy.
Presidium comrades, Comrade M.A. Baby, Comrade K.G. Jairaj, other respected leaders on dais, dear delegates. On behalf of the organizing committee, I welcome all the respected leaders on the dais as also the delegates participating in the second Asia Regional Conference of TUI being held at Thiruvananthapuram today. I am thankful to the TUI for selecting Thiruvananthapuram for holding this August conference. We have tried our best to make convenient arrangements for all the delegates, both from outside and inside in the country. Thiruvananthapuram is the capital city of Kerala, with many historic moments and a great past. It was the headquarters of the Travancore Rajas, who ruled the kingdom for the long time, till it was merged with India when we got independence. Kerala, situated the southernmost part of the country, is endowed with natural beauty, having Arabian Sea on one side and the Western Ghats on the other side. It has got many rivers originating from the hills and flowing to the sea, helping the needs of water for drinking and agriculture. There are backwater lakes and canals used for transport and as tourist centers. Sri Padmanabha Temple in Trivandrum is an important landmark of the city, visited by thousands of people every day. One important section of the ISRO, which has the credit of sending Chandrayaan to the moon, is situated in the city. Under the left democratic government with Comrade Pinarayi Vijayan as the Chief Minister, Kerala has marched forward into the development activities. Kerala has been declared as a 100% literacy state. The average age men is 75 and women 77. The highest in the country. Health services are equal to that of in the developed countries. It is dealing that the COVID epidemic has been appreciated worldwide. While there are about 23 crores of every hungry people in the country, it is almost nil in Kerala. The Left Democratic Front government was provided free houses for more than 4 lakh poor people who did not have their own houses. Kerala has declared its Vayojana Nayam, elder people policy, in 2013 and has provided many benefits to the elderly people who are below the poverty line, BPL. Rs 1,600 pension is being paid monthly, with the government wants to increase. Free treatment and medicines are provided safely, and honor of the elderly are ensured to the maximum. Elderly councils, where their problems are discussed by the government with the representatives of the elderly organizations, continue to function effectively. But much more is also done for the benefit of the elderly people. The pensioners in India are facing severe attacks from the central government as well as the private employees, as is the case world over. The government of India has replaced the old defined statutory pension scheme with a new pension scheme which is based on provident fund and vagaries of the share market, resulting the fact of it to a non-pension scheme. Workers and pensions are on struggle for restoration of the old scheme. Restrictions are put on medical allowance, medical reimbursement, pension revision, which is due on 2017 is not implemented in BSNL. The fully government-owned telecom company vacancies among to more than 7 lakhs in the central government, including railways, are not filled up, causing increased workload on the existing workers. Public sector institutions are being handed over to the corporates against national interest. The Parliamentary Standing Committee of the Government of India has recommended certain benefits to the central government pensioners, including fixed medical allowance Rs 3,000 and increase to 5% pension after the pensioner attained 65 to 70 and 75 years respectively. But the central government has rejected the scheme to the disadvantage of the pensioners. The workers and pensioners are on struggle path to achieve the same. The farmers and workers in India are waging continued agitation against the neoliberal globalization privatization policy being implemented by the central government. Already 22 All India strikes has been organized by the central trade unions with a massive participation since 1991. The last strike being participated by more than 20 crores workers. I am aware that the most of the Asian countries have similar problems being faced on the workers and pensioners. I am confident that all these issues will be discussed in this conference and suitable decisions taken. Once again, I welcome all the leaders and delegates participating in this Asia Regional Conference of the TUI and assure that organizing committee will make all out efforts for the successful conduct of the conference. With warm greetings, thank you.
As the chairman of the reception committee, you have made all arrangements for the convenience of the delegates coming to this place. Thank you once again for your address. Now I request Comrade M.A. Baby, our senior leader, and as I told as a parliament member, he has taken our issues also in the parliament. Even now he is taking up our issues. With all respect, I request Comrade M.A. Baby to inaugurate this August conference.
Comrades of the Presidium, especially the head of the Presidium, I hope, Comrade V.A.N. Nambudiri, other leaders of the steering committee, including Comrade Shivagopal Mishra, Comrade K.G. Jayaraj, Comrade Kim Boix, Comrade C. Srikumar, Comrade K. Rakhavendran, Comrade Joy, It is a joy to participate with Comrade Joy in conferences. I have been referred as a veteran by Comrade Nambudiri. Comrades should be wondering, how can a baby be a veteran? And today is the Day of the Elders. And it is kind of poetic justice that the conference, the Trade Union International of Pensioners and Retirees, naturally, pensioners and retirees cannot but be elders. So this conference is being held on an appropriate day. When I was discussing with Comrade Jairaj about the time that I may take for my intervention, presentation, I was told, and in the program it is included, up to 40 minutes I can speak. On that basis, I have made certain points and formulations so that I can speak up to the time allotted to me, that is 40 minutes. But having reached here, when I inquired upon to my comrades, what are the points which earlier speakers have dealt with, I came to know that both Comrade Nambudiri and Comrade Jairaj did something very unfair to me. They have covered most of the points which I plan to present before you. Though they did that as an unfair act towards me, but I think they have been very fair to you, because they have presented it far better than what I could. One area which I wanted to briefly cover was what the Left Democratic Front government in this province, Kerala, has been doing in various areas, especially to take care of the elders. Apart from both of them, Comrade Joy also has covered some part of that. So I don't want to cover those grounds. When we assemble here as the Second Asia Regional Conference, when I have had a perusal of your report, which is being printed and circulated to you, most of the important issues that pensioners and retirees are faced with today, your report has already covered very accurately. To embellish that presentation, I would like to bring to your attention a very unfair decision taken by the BJP government led by Narendra Modi at the center towards elders. There are many anti-labor, anti-working class, anti-peasant, anti-people policies pursued by this BJP government at the center. But towards elders, they did a great injustice. Following the representations and demands made on the floor of Parliament and in various other fora, the earlier government was forced, compelled to accord certain facilities, certain considerations, concessions to the travelling elders who travel by train. Even some Airlines also used to give certain concessions for elders. But now this Narendra Modi government has decided to abolish the concessions accorded to elders while traveling by train. And it is also been revealed by this government as a great achievement of the government that the government, according to them, saved 2,250 crore by not allowing elders to have railway concession. When they parade it as their achievement, the fact of the matter is that they have extracted from the otherwise empty purse of the elders 2,250 crore rupees. A meager benefit that each traveling senior citizen would have enjoyed, that is being denied. If elders were given this concession, they would have been saved only part of it. It's a small amount for. But when this is being extracted from all the pensioners, they calculated it on the basis of the average number of elders who used to travel each year. That's how they have calculated it. So we can understand how the so-called LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization, how it is operating. So far as LPG cylinder prices are concerned, they made some 200 rupee reduction couple of weeks ago. Now we understand that it is being hiked back again. So these ruling classes, they are playing with the lives of the ordinary masses of people, including pensioners. And the studies being conducted, organizations like World Bank is an organization which is sympathetic to the so-called LPG program, transforming world as a private property to profit maximization by the monopolies. They support it, World Bank, IMF and all that. But even their studies have shown that these policies are harming the interest of the toiling masses and the laborers and workers. Long and short, what is the essence of the new kind of initiatives that governments which are committed to protect the interests of the exploiting transnational corporations, how these policies are impacting on the lives of the working class. I have few figures to present before you. The most visible impact of these policies, so far the laboring sections of society are concerned, as per a study by the World Bank, between 2007 and 2017, 99 countries in the world, this huge majority, embarked on labor regulating reforms. That is how it's a euphemism to attack on labor rights. But they say it's a labor reform measures. How did this work? Over 90 crore workers are, through these reforms, now they are considered in the informal sector. You all know the meaning of this 90 crore workers being transformed from formal sector to informal sector. They don't have trade union rights. They can be hired and fired. Their wages can be reduced whichever way they wish. And the number of hours they have to work, it can be enhanced whichever way they wish. This is happening. This has been accepted on the basis of the World Bank data. Another data, by mid-2017, out of 190 countries, 123 allowed fixed term contracts instead of permanency of jobs. Fixed term contract, you all know. This fixed term contract, it can be even for a day. It's a daily hiring also. From daily hiring, weekly hiring, monthly hiring. And when a person is in this category, any day his or her job would be lost. Another interesting phenomena is the kind of new terms that these policy makers are inventing and presenting and implementing. On such word which I am sure you would be familiar with. It is flexicurity. What is flexicurity? For the sake of record, I am explaining it, even though most of you know it. It is an amalgamation of two words, flexibility and security. So they claim we want to have flexibility in decisions. Employer-employee relationship, there should be flexibility. That doesn't mean that we don't want security. When they say security, we may think some gullible people would think that it's security of the workers. No. It is flexibility to hire and fire for the employer, and security not for employers. Security for the capital. They would explain it as though we want to ensure the security of everybody, like that they would say, including employees. No. So flexicurity is a term which summarizes the real intentions of monopoly capital and political leadership which is committed to protection of monopoly capital. Friends and comrades, this section of my observations I would like to summarize with a quote from a labor leader, T.J. Dunning. When I mention that name, T.J. Dunning, some of you surely would be thinking about in where mostly people have come to know about this T.J. Dunning. Karl Marx, in his seminal work, Das Kapital, in its first volume, you will find a quotation from T.J. Dunning. It is interesting that some comrades, without sufficient caution and care, they speak about this quote of Dunning as quote of Marx. I have seen. Even a comrade had written in an article, he summarized, he concluded that article that in Capital Karl Marx wrote like this. No, it is not Karl Marx who. Karl Marx quoted T.J. Dunning. It's a footnote. What is it? We have to keep this quote written, and we should tell friends. This summarizes the working of capitalist society. That French economist, capital in 21st century? Thomas Piketty, due to old age, there is forgetfulness. Please have forgiveness for this forgetfulness. So Thomas Piketty speaks about capital and all that. He could have reproduced the quote from Capital saying that T.J. Dunning. So what does Thomas Joseph Dunning, that is a full name, T.J. Dunning is Thomas Joseph Dunning. Thanks to Marx quoting it in Capital, we all remember this. Otherwise, I don't think would have been opportunity to understand this very, very gripping graphic description of how capital operates. He is speaking about the characteristic of capital. That's most important. And then you would see whether this is true or not. I quote, capital is said by a quarterly reviewer to fly turbulence and strife and to be timid, which is very true. But this is very incompletely stating the question. Capital eschews no profit or very small profit, just as nature was formerly said to abhor, means detest, a vacuum. So tea is being served. That may be, no. Okay. Especially when we speak about capital. This portion is the crucial portion. With adequate profit, capital is very bold. If there is profit, capital becomes very bold. A certain 10% will ensure its employment anywhere. 20% certain will produce eagerness. 50% positive audacity. 100% will make it ready to trample on all human laws. 300% profit. There is not a crime at which it will scruple. Means it will commit any crime if there is 300% profit. Nor a risk it will not run, even to the chance of its owner being hanged. If capital gets 300% profit, capital won't mind hanging its own owner. If turbulence and strife will bring a profit, it will freely encourage both. Now he sums up this portion. Smuggling and the slave trade have amply proved all that is here stated. The growth of capitalism, slave trade played a part. Now, will capitalists admit that slave trade played a part in the development of capitalism? Colonizing countries, making countries slave. India was a slave of imperialism. Britishers. That played a part in the emergence of British imperialism and British capitalism. This is the fact. So, friends and comrades, we are assembled here to discuss the problem basically of pensioners and retirees. But we are driven with some scientific understanding. We all understand that we cannot confine our discussions to the immediate demands of pensioners and retirees alone, because our problems are linked with the problems of laborers, of peasants, of unemployed youth. Because today's unemployed youth may get some job tomorrow, then they would also be subjected to this kind of exploitation. So, while we start our discussions about our own problems, it should be like that. We should start from the simple to the complex. Simple thing is to understand our problems, our worries. Then we should inquire, can we solve our problems with our own efforts? No. Our problems are linked to the problems of our society and the world in which we live. Therefore, while we need to have our own movement, our own struggle, raising our own demands, we should have solidarity with the struggles of other sections of society also. When we think on these scientific lines, we also would realize that we will have to take some very well thought out political positions. Some people would say, very innocently and very genuinely, no, I don't want to take a political position. I am apolitical. There are people. This question was settled not by Marxists. Thousands of years ago, there lived a person known as Pericles. You search for Pericles, you can ask Professor Google, what did Pericles say about various things? There is a sentence of Pericles. What is about politics? Pericles said, you can decide to be outside politics, but politics will not leave you outside it. This is the meaning of the sentence. When you search, there would be some from my memory. I did not even take a note of this to be stated here. On the course of my discussion only I have mentioned this. This is a fact. That is why in modern times people say personal is political. Whatever matter you say as personal, in the final analysis is political. If back home, after your lunch, you ask your wife, Yashoda, take my plate, go and wash it and keep. That's a personal matter outwardly between you and your wife. But no, that's not personal. There is a male-dominated, anti-women approach in that position. So, what do you think as something personal? No, it has political connotations. Therefore, when you look at what happens in our society, in our country, India, I am speaking, sorry for saying in our country. I know comrades from Nepal and comrades from Sri Lanka are here. I welcome my friends, delegates from other Asian countries, representing other countries also. We are very, very eager to see the developments, especially from Nepal. Sri Lanka also, every Asian country, we are eager to know. But Nepal, because communists, whatever change of government happens, some communist would be the prime minister. That is very good. We are very happy about that as a communist. And with the freedom here, in our Politburo, we crack a joke. Nepal is the country where you can find many number of communist former prime ministers. Is that true? Former communist prime ministers. Some of them are my friends. Anyway. So, in India today, interestingly I said India today, it is a very famous publication in India, but I pay respect to India Today, written by, British communist leader, which is a seminal work which we should occasionally go back to. In India today, we have a government which is trying to change the secular democratic character of Indian state. Indian Parliament already passed a legislation related to people having their request submitted to get Indian citizenship. It is known as a Citizenship Act amendment. This refers to people from Bangladesh, Pakistan and Afghanistan. Why Indian citizenship requests are coming from Nepal also? Sri Lanka also, they are here. Bangladesh, Burma, Rohingya. Why? There is no law required about Indian citizenship claim from people coming from Burma, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Nepal. No. Why only these three? It's very clear. It is an anti-minority act. And in the Indian constitution, no way religion is a consideration to accord citizenship or to deny citizenship. No, neither. Religion is not a factor. But in this Citizenship Amendment Act, religion is a criteria. People belonging to many religions can apply for Indian citizenship from these three countries only. But people belonging to one particular religion, no, they cannot even submit claim. So religion is being brought as a factor in politics. In Nepal, religion was a factor. But the democratic secular movement in Nepal decided that religion should not be a factor. Nepal was a Hindu Rashtra at one point of time. It's considered. But you have a secular constitution. And women comrades should be very happy that perhaps Nepal decided for 1/3 women reservation in provincial legislatures and central parliament. And that has been implemented there. It's not a postdated check like India. So I don't want to go into detail. It's a very dangerous situation. I spent part of my time in Delhi, my party headquarters. In Delhi and North India, if your name is just an identifiable name of a Muslim minority, your chances of a mob coming and accusing you of cow theft, pashu hatya and mob lynching, you can lose your life. This is the dangerous situation existing in our country. So the very survival of human beings is being questioned as part of a fascistic organization whose role in the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi, one of the greatest personalities humanity received as one of its sons. Such forces are trying to seep down into every cell of Indian society through their poisonous influence. This is a huge political task we need to address. I have promised you that I will not take much of the time on the course of the speech. I have taken, I don't know if I have exceeded my time or not. I am extremely thankful to the organizers for having given me this privilege of participating in this very important conference. And though maybe I am an elder, I am nearing 70. So on this Elders' Day, the pensioners and retirees organization, while going through your report, I could see that you have very, very deeply and passionately and accurately analyzed the problems that the pensioners and retirees are facing today. And you have narrated what is the status of pensioners and retirees in Nepal, in Korea, in Laos, in Sri Lanka, in Vietnam, in China. So it's a, very good ready reckoner to understand how each country is trying to tackle the problem of the retirees and pensioners. Is highly educational for me. Therefore, I have benefited by being here rather than you have had any benefit from my sketchy observations on various matters. With your permission, I declare that we all together inaugurate the second Asia Regional Conference of Trade Union International. Thank you very much.
We will also accept your advice that pensioners are not alone. Pension is part of the working class, and we will combine together and achieve our success through continuous struggle. Thank you, Comrade Baby. Now, tea is ready. The Comrade Shri Kumar, Comrade Raghavendra and others will speak after the tea break. The tea and small it is available, snacks are available. Please take it, and within 10 minutes, by 10 minutes we will start again.
As everybody has spoken here, whatever policy is being followed, the neoliberal economic policy, the privatization, it is not only the public sector is affected, the government sector is affected, the pensioners, the old age people, the veterans, the senior citizens, they are also equally affected. Because the load, the weight of these capitalist policies, it is having a very serious impact on the working class, especially the senior citizens. And that is why all over the world, barring few socialist countries, the main target, the main attack is on the old age security. Recently in Hindu, 3-4 days before, there was an article. And that article analyzed about various studies conducted, and which concludes that India today, everybody claims, is a young country. India is a country with a young population. But this report says in the coming days, India is going to be having a population of aging people. And in 2050, exactly 20% of India's population will be more than 60 years old. This is the study which is now coming. Now our delegates from Nepal and Sri Lanka are available here. Small countries, not economically, and Sri Lanka, the situation is very awkward now. Very awkward. They have faced all the economical crisis, whatever they have faced. The working class of Sri Lanka is fighting against all those attacks. But in these two countries also, pension is not treated as a liability. Old age people are not treated as a liability by the government, the ruling class. But in India, where our Honorable Prime Minister and everybody claims it is a growing economy, It is going to be fifth in the world on economic situation. All these big claims are being made. But here, the attack on senior citizens is more than any other country. As rightly mentioned by Comrade Baby, myself and Misraji, as Misraji has mentioned, we are together in the Standing Committee of the National Council JCM. As he has very correctly told, by 40%, almost 50% of the issues discussed in the National Council JCM is with regard to the pensioners issue, including restoration of the senior citizen concession withdrawn by the Railway Ministry. Even though the official side claimed, how can this be an agenda? How can this fall under the JCM scheme? Is it a service matter? How you are bringing this as an agenda? We cannot admit this as an agenda for discussion. Then we have to argue. Misraji has to argue, he himself being from railways, and all of us have to argue. It is definitely concerning central government employees and pensioners. So it has come before the JCM. Because they are a part of the senior citizens. The government employees who are retired, they are part of the senior citizens. They were getting this 40% concession. The women of the country after 55 years are getting this concession. No, for Gen Z it is 60. 58. For women it is 58. So this concession, how you have withdrawn? So definitely this is an agenda item to be discussed in the JCM. After a lot of persuasion they have agreed, okay, we will look into this. Similarly, ward entitlement. Other than railway pensioners, others are governed under the CGHS. And here in Trivandrum, it is a CGHS city. And all over the country, in major cities, CGHS benefits are there. On the ward entitlement, on the 28th of October last year, CGHS issued an order revising the ward entitlement. But unfortunately, that is given effect from 28/10/2022. So those who are getting more than 50,500 rupees basic pay, they are all entitled for private ward. But that benefit is given only to those pensioners who retired on or after 28/10/2022. So Misraji and myself, we fought in the health ministry. We told, what is this discrimination you are doing? Somebody was working under me, because in government hierarchy is there. Somebody was working under me. He retires after 28/10/2022. I retired prior to that. Now both of us are admitted in the hospital. My subordinate, he will be in the private ward, and I being his superior, I will be asked to stay in the semi-private ward. Is it not discriminative? Is it not a violation of the constitution? Is it not a violation of the fundamental rights I am having? Because there are many people who retired after 1/1/2016 with this basic pay. And as per Pay Commission's recommendation, all the pensioners who retired prior to 2016, their pay is also fixed by notionally fixing in the 7th CPC pay scale. So if they also cross this limit, they should be entitled for private ward. So we are fighting. And the rates, whatever CGHS has fixed, hundreds of Supreme Court judgments are there. Hundreds of Supreme Court judgments are there. Government employees and pensioners, they are eligible for full medical reimbursement. It is the responsibility of the government to make full reimbursement, but they don't make it. They restrict their own rates. With a lot of fighting in the JCM only, 150 rupees consultation fees has been increased to 300 rupees. Because no doctor is prepared. I am from Chennai, 2-3 major hospitals, Miyat Hospital, Sri Ramachandra Medical College Hospital, they were all reputed, multi-speciality hospital. Originally they were in CGHS. Now they have withdrawn. They say we don't want to be in CGHS because the government is not making payment for us. Even for that we have to fight in the National Council JCM. Some 500 crores due was there for the hospitals. After we fought, then some 300 crores they have cleared. So this is how the senior citizens are taken into task. The Parliamentary Standing Committee have recommended, instead of waiting up to 80 years for 20% of restoration of pension, after our representation to the Parliamentary Standing Committee, they have recommended, because after all the average age of Indian, in Kerala it may be 75 and 77, but average age of Indian is now 72 years. That means how many people will live up to 80 years for getting that 20% restoration? They will not be there. And all those facts we told before the Parliamentary Standing Committee, and they have rightly recommended, every year there should be a 1% rise in the pension. That means every 5 years increase their pension by 5%. If somebody is 65, then increase the pension by 5%. Somebody becomes 70, increase the pension by 10%. So this recommendation is given by a Parliamentary Standing Committee. But unfortunately, this government doesn't honor any Parliamentary Committee recommendation. No. Recommendation will remain as a recommendation. We have given agenda that this has to be implemented. This benefit has to be given to the senior citizens. But still they don't give. And you know, there are judgments of the Supreme Court and High Court. 80 years or completion of 80 years for restoration of this 20%. That is also a major issue. High Court has ruled, Supreme Court has ruled. 80 years means once he completes 79 and enter 80, 20% has to be given. But the government is taking a position, 80 means 80 has to be completed. And then only 20% restoration will be there. The court judgments also they are not honoring. People who retired after 1/1/2006 in the month of June, even after 12 months completion, July 1st they are not in service. So their increment they have lost for no mistake of theirs. 12 months honorably they have worked. Actually they should have given a increment. They have not been given. So recommendation is therefore giving a notional increment and calculating their pension. That also we are fighting. They are not accepting. We have calculated and shown whatever the 40% commutation pension is being made by the central government employees, you are recovering within 12 years with the present rate of interest and all those things. So if that is the case, why can't you restore the commuted value after 12 years? That also they will not accept. So these policies, what we call neoliberal privatization, all these policies, it is not only attacking the working class, the people who really work, but the people who have worked and retired, like us, they are also being attacked. So therefore this conference carry a very important role. Now contributory pension scheme, this is an outcome of the policy, no? Because pension is a liability. But in this country, the historical judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court in 1982, it was a constitutional bench. The present Supreme Court Judge Chandrachud's father. It is called as the Magna Carta of the pensioners. There it has been categorically told, pension is not a gift. Pension is not a bounty. Pension is not an ex gratia. Pension is not something paid at the sweet will of the employer. Pension is a fundamental right of every government employee. This is a Supreme Court judgment. But despite that, the new pension scheme, the contributory pension scheme has been introduced. Its outcome, Ms. Raji has very rightly told. Somebody retired with 30,000 basic pay is getting only 500 rupees. 800 rupees, 900 rupees. How can somebody survive? The Kerala state government is giving 1,600 rupees for a veteran. He has not served any government, he has not served anything. But if he is aged more than 60 years, the government is paying 1,600 rupees. Even that 1,600, after contributing 10% of my DA and basic pay, and government contributing 14% with 24% contribution every month, the result is 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees. Nambudiri Sahib has mentioned the committee, Somanathan committee, finance secretary. What is the terms of reference? Improvement. And what Nirmala Sitharaman announced in the parliament, we have been receiving demands that there should be improvement in the NPS. So Misraji asked Mr. Somanathan, who has demanded you improvement? First you tell. Any organization in this country have come to you and demanded that we want improvement in NPS. All of us are in one voice demanding scrap the no guarantee NPS and restore the defined and guaranteed pension under the pension rule 1972. This is our demand. Who has asked improvement? You have made improvement. From 10% you have made it 14% your contribution. But even then the pension is only 2,000, 3,000. So what is the meaning of this? So what improvement you are going to make? So we are not here for any improvement. We want that the Somanathan committee should recommend scrapping of the new pension scheme and restoration of the old pension scheme. We have categorically told. And now we have taken a historical decision at Ramlila Maidan. Lakhs of people have come, workers from railways, defense, postal, income tax, accounts, audit, state government, teachers from different spectrum, primary, middle, university, college, all youngsters. 25 years, 30 years, 35 years, 40 years. Lakhs of people have come to Ramlila Maidan. And there we have declared, we are going for an indefinite strike. We are going for an indefinite strike. And the ballot is going to be taken on 20th and 21st of November. And Misraji has convened a steering committee meeting of the JFROPS on 14th, where we are going to discuss and decide about the future strategical issues. Therefore, comrades, when in the TU International, when we discuss WFTU message and all, Comrade Pampis Curtis, when he comes, and Kunbox, when he comes, they will be delivering. I don't want to go into those details. But being this conference is taking place in India, we have to discuss all these issues. Problems, it is not only the working class, the employees are facing. Employees are in difficulties. Now one comrade is wearing this thing on his chest, ordnance factories. I am an ex-employee of ordnance factory, 220 years old. The oldest industry in our country. What is its fate today? It has been splintered into 7 corporations, violating 5 agreements with this federation. Right from George Fernandez, Pranab Mukherjee, Jaswant Singh, A.K. Antony, Manohar Parrikar. 5 ministers have given in writing, ordnance factories cannot be corporatized because these are all war industry, defense preparedness of this country. They are there to achieve self-reliance in defense. We cannot corporatize and then privatize it. Modi government, they don't bother. With all our opposition, we went for 5-day strike. But today, ordnance factories is splintered into 7 companies. Now, within a period of 2 years, government has appointed another committee to reduce it to 4 corporations. That means it's a failure. Your experiment is a failed experiment. Railway is also under attack. They are taking all efforts to corporatize the railway production units, to privatize the railways. Which department is spared? There are about, last meeting Misraji raised this point, 11 lakh posts are lying vacant. 11 lakhs. In central government alone, in railway alone, more than 4 lakh posts are lying vacant. And the socially, economically downtrodden community, the only opportunity for them to get job is only in public sector and government sector. But that is being sealed. No employment is generated. So where this country is going? So we as senior citizens, when we discuss our issues, we have to discuss, because all these things have got a bearing on us. Our pension, our terminal benefits, our health care, everything has got a bearing on the political policies being followed by the ruling party and the ruling class. So therefore, this conference has to discuss All these type of issues the pensioners are facing, the difficulties we are facing all over the world. It is not only in India we are facing. As rightly told here, and also Comrade Raghavendra has critically analyzed in his General Secretary report, that how the pension is taking different shape in different countries. So pension is under attack. The old age security, after all, ILO what they have told. International Labour Organization has categorically told that we should have a decent and dignified old age life. So for decent and dignified old age life, two things are very important. One is wealth, another is health. Wealth is money, and money comes from pension. And if money is there, health can be taken care of, because health is being disturbed in this country. No money is spent for public health care. No money is spent for public distribution, education. Everything is under attack and everything is under privatization. So that means these policies being followed by the different capitalist countries to favor the corporates, to favor the multinationals, ultimately the cost has to be paid by either the working class or the retirees and pensioners. That is what Nambudiri Sahab has classified. Pensioner, because we are getting some pension. Retirees, somebody retired at the age of 60 years because he cannot work. Where is the retirement for him? After 60 years he cannot work. Somebody cannot work after 70 years. We are seeing people working at the age of 80 years also for earning one time or two time bread. So that means very rightly the TUI has been classified as TUI not only for pensioners, it is for the retirees also. The people who cannot work, who have contributed everything during their life, but service span of 30 years, 40 years, in wherever they may be. And after all, have we not contributed to the growth of the society? 30, 35 years minimum we work in whatever sector we worked. We have contributed. And almost 20 to 30% of our earnings have gone as a tax only. We have given back to the government either as income tax or as a GST. We are giving back to the government. So when we are giving back to the government from the 30-35 years span of service, and the government doesn't want to take the responsibility of ours when we are left with already 10 or 12 years to remain in this world. So that means these type of policies we have to fight out. We have to fight out. No other way. We cannot leave it to the trade unions alone. Trade unions, yes, they are fighting. Trade unions are fighting for everybody. But we as pensioners organizations, in whatever department, maybe from the banks, maybe from the insurance, state government, railways, defense, postal, whatever capacity we have got, we have to revolt against these policies. Our voice has to be heard by those people who are ruling. And that type of a situation, if we create, no government can ignore the working class and no government can ignore the senior citizens. And that is why 5 or 6 state governments, how they have done. It was only because keeping election in mind. So that means in our country, everything is related with the politics. Everything is related with election. Now the general election is going to come. An India alliance has been made. We were discussing, myself and Misraji were discussing. We have told India has to come, the India alliance has to come with an open declaration. If we come to power, we will review all privatization, corporatization policies. We will restore the old pension scheme. After 2015, the Indian Labour Conference has not taken place. Every year it has to take as per ILO direction. Every year it has to take tripartite meeting between government, employer and employees. But after one meeting he held, Narendra Modi, in 2015. He thought, because you know his way of communication, only one way communication. He will speak and 140 crore people should listen to him. Nobody should ask him. So he thought it is like other public meeting, he will come, speak and go. But then the veteran senior leaders who were sitting, listening to him, they started asking questions, clarifications. Then he thought, now I cannot come here. So what is the better way? Better way is not to call the meeting at all. So that was the first and last meeting in this entire 9 years Mr. Narendra Modi has held. That much importance only this government is giving to the working class. So therefore, keeping all these issues in our mind, we, the Trade Union International of Retirees and Pensioners, I am confident the delegates who have come from abroad, from Nepal, Sri Lanka, and our own domestic delegates will deal all these issues when you report on your speech and when you speak your opinion on the General Secretary's report. And finally, when the Thiruvananthapuram declaration is adopted, I am confident that it will come out with a fruitful message. The declaration will be so effective that in the coming few months, when the country is going for the election, it will create awareness amongst this more than 20% senior citizens of this country, and their vote, the ballot paper in their hand is very valuable for any government, whether it is NDA alliance or whether it is India alliance. They cannot ignore us, they should take care of us, and if they ignore us, we have to teach a lesson to those political parties, and we can do it. We have got the capacity, and I think this convention will travel its journey towards that direction. Few words once again. I wish your convention all success, and my revolutionary greetings to all of you. Thank you, comrades.
So I request him to give his speech. Comrade K. Raghavendran.
Comrades, respected Presidium, Comrade Shogopal Mishraji, GSM Staff Site Secretary and NCCPA Chairman, Comrade Sri Kumarji, WFTU Deputy General Secretary from India, and also the General Secretary of All India Defence Employees Federation, Comrade KG Airaj, TUI Executive Member, and also the General Secretary of AIBDPA, Comrade Swastika Das Gupta, Member of Women Commission of TUI, and all the leaders on the dais. I will take only 10 minutes because it is a custom that the Secretary General has to speak in the open session. I will touch only one point. Before that, I would like to congratulate the reception committee or the organizing committee, whatever you call it. They have arranged for a very beautiful conference whereby the international conference is being organized in a befitting manner in Trivandrum city of Kerala, and therefore I initially thank the reception committee. They wait in the railway station, they wait in the airport, unmindful of the night hours, and even at 1:30 when I went downstairs, 2 comrades of the reception committee were available in the hotel, and they said, no, don't bring comrade from Jharkhand, let him stay in the railway station, we will go and pick him up. This is the spirit shown by the reception committee comrades. So I salute all the comrades of reception committee headed by our MLA comrade and also by KG Raj. Now I am coming to only one point. Comrade, we are all not self-centered people. We are not self-centered. We should not be self-centered. We are talking about our pension division. We are talking about our DRS allowance, DRS relief should be given, arrears should be given. We are talking about our notional increment, and we are talking about all our problems of the pensioners. But there is a vast section referred by Comrade Sri Kumarji. Without any pension, even at the age of 75, 80, they are working in bus stand, they are working in railway station, they are working outside. What are we going to do for them? Comrade, we are getting government pension. Basically, we are getting government pension. There is EPF pensioners, there are other pensioners who are not getting the government CCS pension rules as per pension rules. Yes, but basically we are getting pension. But what about those unorganized sections who are not getting even 1,000 rupees per mensam and are struggling even at the age of 80? They are forced to labor. We are taking rest. But what about those comrades? They are working, they are toiling. Even at the age of 80, they have to work in villages and in fields and in other areas. Otherwise, they will fast, they will die of hunger. So, what are we going to do? Comrades, central trade unions in India have correctly pointed out that the minimum pension of all the retirees shall not be less than a minimum amount. Comrade, this is the time that we the pensioners demand universal pension for all the retirees. That is why the Trade Union International Pensioners and Retirees is given that name. Not only the Trade Union International is for pensioners, it is also for retirees without any pension. So, comrades, we should see that all the retirees in the world should get the minimum amount, decent pension, decent food, decent medical care, decent transportation, and all other things that are necessary for running a family. That should be ensured for all senior citizens. Whether you are a pensioner, whether you are a government pensioner, whether you are a NPS pensioner, whether you are a retiree in unorganized sector, all should be given the minimum amount by the government, because the government is in a position to pay money to all the comrades. Because it's the GDP, it is boasting of a very beautiful economy. But when it comes to the question of delivering, they speak in different tone. We cannot allow that. Comrade, unless we take to the demand, unless we raise the demand of these unorganized sections, retirees, as decided by the TUI P&R at the instance of WFTU, we are not going to win the moral support of the public. Without the moral support of the public, whether you are in Sri Lanka, whether you are in Nepal, whether you are in India, whether you are in any other country, you are not going to win. But if it is France, if it is Colombia, the struggle is successful because all the sections of the society are getting into the field, and today the struggle of France is a model to all of us. But in India, we are thinking only about our pension, only about our benefits. It is not correct. We should stand for as the central trade unions in India, they are standing for other sections, they are standing for unorganized sections. We should also raise the demand. Then only the people will support our struggle. Because don't think that your pension is permanent. Because in India, the PFRDA rule under paragraph 13, it says that by an administrative order, at any time, the government can shift anybody from any pension rule to the PFRDA rule. So our pension is not safe. So even the existing pensioners who are covered by CCS pension rules 2021 can be, by an administrative order of the government, can be taken away, and we can bracket it with any section. So that way, at that time, if we are going to struggle, today what happens? We are struggling for NPS, National Pension Scheme, because majority of employees are today, they are covered by NPS. But when the NPS was introduced, we were not worried because the leaders were worried. They were telling us, but we were not worried because we thought my pension is safe. Because of that self-centeredness, because of that feeling, we did not agitate. But today, the majority are covered under NPS. Tomorrow, only NPS will be in the service. All the people who retire, they will be bracketed with the NPS tomorrow by an administrative order, and we struggle at that time. What is the use? We have lost the Brahmastra. We cannot go on strike. The strike sections will be covered under NPS. Why they should support you? So, comrades, it is time that we should raise our voice for the unorganized, for the NPS section, for the EPF section, and all other sections which are not getting pension to the level of CCS pension rules, and then only we can demand and win any of our demands. So with these words, this is the only point I would like to make in the open session. Other issues I will speak while presenting the report. I will speak on all those issues. So with these comments, I take leave of you. Thank you, comrade.
General Secretary of the WFTU is addressing you through video. First, Comrade Pampis Kairitis will be speaking to you. Thereafter, our General Secretary, the Trade Union International Secretaries, Comrade Kim Boix also will be addressing. He is very sorry for not being with us, but still he will address. So first, our WFT, World Federation of Trade Union General Secretary, called Pampis Kairitis, will address.
Convey to you and through you to the pensioners of the Asian region militant class greetings. The 1st October, the date that United Nations adopting as International Day of Older Persons, is a great opportunity to highlight our basic elements for decent pension and decent life to all pensioners and retirees, as the slogan of your Congress it is. The slogans of your Congress and the date you have chosen for holding your session refer to the militant approach with which your TUI faces the struggles and the demands of the workers and the role of the class-oriented trade union. WFTU is proud to have TUI pensioners in its ranks. Veterans who are retired from work have pricelessly contributed to the society and certainly deserve much more than what they currently enjoy. This meeting takes place in a period that the crisis of capitalism it deepens and attempt to be loaded to the shoulders of the working class by the open violation of democratic and trade union rights and the dramatic widening of social inequalities, poverty, and exploitation. The sharp and uncontrollable increase in prices of all basic necessities dissipates the living standard of the working people and pensioners' families, at the same time that multinationals and monopolies, banks, and energy giants are reaching new records in profits. The workers and the pensioners all over the world, they refuse to pay the bill for the capitalist crisis and the imperialist wars. WFTU affiliates all over the world are at the forefront of these struggles. What is the response of the bourgeois governments to the just popular demands? The sharpening of state repression and authoritarianism. Unfortunately, with the tolerance of the surrendered trade union leaders and the cooperation of the yellow unions. That's why this year, International Action Day on 3rd October, the historic day of founding the World Federation of Trade Unions, focuses to the defense of democratic and trade union freedoms against authoritarianism and repression, to protect the right to organize and collective bargaining and the sacred right to strike, for permanent, stable and regulated work with collective agreements and social rights. For us, it is clear that only through class struggles and organized militant demands the aims of the labor movement be realized and social progress is achieved. The weapon of the working class is solidarity and internationalism. For those who resist, who do not compromise with oppression, discrimination, and man-by-man exploitation, there is only one path of dignity, the path of the struggles. Dear comrades, brothers and sisters, the capitalists and their political representatives take advantage of the crisis and promote the privatization of even the greatest social achievements, such as social security. With public money, they save banks and strengthen big capital, not caring the same time about the dramatic expansion of poverty and social inequality, ignoring that large groups of population, especially the most vulnerable, such as pensioners, are pushed even further into misery, abandonment, and social marginalization. The international class-oriented trade union movement firmly stands by your side and fights with you in the great trade union battle for pensions, against the privatization of social security and the arbitrary and autocratic increase of retirement limits. For pensioners' right to a dignified life, housing, food, health, culture, and entertainment with a proper level of quality. Workers and retirers march together, shoulder to shoulder, in the struggles for a better world, without imperialist wars and interventions, without social marginalization, without discrimination of any kind, and without man-by-man exploitation. I would like to wish you every success in the works of your meeting and to your struggles to defend and expand the rights and improve the quality of life of pensioners. Be sure that you can always rely on the solidarity and the support of the international class-oriented trade union movement. Long live the workers and pensioners' unity and struggles. Long live TUI pensioners and retires and WFTU.
Comrades, receive a great and fraternal greeting from the entire collective leadership of the International Union of Pensioners and Retirees Unions of the World Federation of Trade Unions. As Secretary General, I wish you great success in your work and deliberations. This conference is the fifth, on a continent of the planet, to be held after our second Congress, held in Bogota, Colombia, in February 2019. Before the Asian Conference, we also held 4 successful conferences: the American Conference, in Havana, Cuba, April 2022, that of Arab countries, in Beirut, Lebanon, in May of this year, that of the former socialist countries, also in May, but virtually from Moscow, and that of Europe, in the city-state of Monaco, last June. We only have to hold the Africa Conference, which our comrades are already preparing to hold in Rabat, Morocco, at the end of November. 60 delegates from 25 countries on the African continent have already registered. We will send you the result, which will surely also be successful. With your conference, the one in Asia, and the other 5 mentioned, we will complete the preparation of the 3rd Congress of our International Union of Pensioners Unions, which will be held in Athens, Greece, on April 15 to 17, 2024. You as organizations from Asia will be invited to this Congress, as will organizations from the other 4 continents. Our UIS was born by decision of the 16th Congress of the World Trade Union Federation, in Athens, in April 2011. We were born to defend the rights and demands of working-class people in the final stage of our lives. Rights that our class enemy, capitalism, does not stop trying to diminish and cut.
For the leaders of capitalism, the working class is nothing more than an element. They do not even consider us as people, that ensures their benefits, thanks to the capital gains they get from exploiting us, and they treat us as such. They plan education so that we are productive, like machines. They push us to emigrate to have cheap labor in places where big capital needs it. They exploit us by paying poverty wages, as long as the union struggle does not prevent them from doing so. And they want us to die the day after we retire, so that they, the capitalists, can keep the money from our pensions, while at the same time saving the costs of healthcare that, as older people, we need the highest quality. This battle, by our class enemy, against the right to quality public pensions, goes back a long way. It began, in the last century, in the United States of America, by creating private pension funds, which have proven to be a great scam for the working class, since the vast majority of them have enormous losses when speculating in the stock markets. These private pension plans spread to other capitalist countries, with the same results as in the United States. The clearest example of this was that of Chile, where, under the fascist dictatorship of Pinochet, public pensions were changed to private pensions, deceiving the workers. Aided by the yellow unions of the then Yellow World Organization of Unions, the International Trade Union Confederation of Free Organizations, misnamed free when since their creation they depended on the United States government that financed them, Pinochet promised the Chilean working class that he would improve the amount of money collected as a first pension when going from active worker to retired worker. Both the fascist Pinochet and the unions that support capitalism promised that the first pension would go from being 70% of the last salary to 100% of it. These false promises were made in the 70s of the last century. Now the big lie has been proven, since Chilean retirees have begun to collect, as their first pension, only 35% of their last salary as active workers, half of what they received before privatizing the public pension system. The only ones who have become richer have been the leaders of class conciliation unionism and the large multinational finance companies. The same has happened in all the places where the International Monetary Fund has managed to transform public pensions into private ones. I give you just another example, this one from my country, the Spanish state, where in 1992, the multinational Telefónica movie star, helped by the leaders, sold to the Employers Association, of the unions Comisiones Obreras and UGT, promoted the privatization of pensions. Now, when the great theft has been verifiable, it is demonstrated that the workers who, following the advice of class unionism, of the unions in this multinational affiliated to the World Trade Union Federation, stayed in the public system collect a higher pension than the who went to the private system, and in addition the latter lost 2.4% of their salary each month that was collected by the private funds scam. Those who did get rich, in the Spanish example, were the leaders of the Comisiones Obreras, of the UGT, and those of the Telefónica movie star company. In 25 years, the former have earned 25 million euros, and the latter another 100 million, justified as expenses for their management of the private pension fund. In summary, capitalism wants to take away from us a universal right, recognized in the constitutions of dozens of countries, which class unionism won with great struggles and sacrifices, the right to a public pension that guarantees a dignified life in the final stage of our lives. For this reason, a central axis of our global struggle, as an organization of pensioners, is the demand that private pension funds cease to exist. These funds have been proven to be a scam. Almost all of them have losses when entering the speculative game of the stock markets of capitalism. Now when people no longer trust saving individually through private funds, when the globalized privatization of public funds has been another failure, our class enemy has invented another form of privatization, what in Europe we call the Austrian backpack. Because it was in Austria where it began that it consists of each worker carrying, from company to company, if they go through several of them, as is usual, a personal fund, that is, a private fund, in this case with public management, that will be the basis for them to collect a salary or a pension if you are fired or retire. It is the International Monetary Fund, helped by the class conciliation unions, which today are grouped in the ITUC, International Trade Union Confederation, that pushes governments to draft laws that make this new scam possible for people of the class worker. This scam normally takes the form of collective agreements, company by company or sector by sector, signed by social democratic unions that deny the class struggle. In these funds, as in all those promoted by capitalism, there is no solidarity, nor distribution of the wealth generated collectively. It is again an exercise in individualism that has always been and will be the basis of capitalism. Faced with this new attack on the working class, as the World Federation of Trade Unions we will continue defending the public pension funds, publicly managed, and controlled by representatives elected by the unions and pensioners. This is the only guarantee that a great demand won by the working class in past centuries will be maintained and allow all people to live with dignity until their last day of life. Comrades, the first pensioner that we know of, in the history of the class struggle, was the liberator of South America, Simón Bolívar, who managed to expel the Spanish colonizers from the territories currently occupied by several countries. It was the law that Simón Bolívar promoted, the first law that gave pay to the soldiers who had fought against the colonizers, when due to age or injuries received in the war, they could no longer continue fighting. This was a reality in the mid-19th century. At the end of the 19th century, it was the public administration officials of Argentina who got their bosses to draft a law that gave them the right to collect retirement. The conquest of the right to a public pension was universalized for the first time in 1917, when Lenin signed the law that gave this right to all people, including those who had only worked in domestic tasks, and to peasants. A great victory for the working class, logically associated with the fact that it was a communist government that launched it. This victory facilitated the struggle of class unionism, promoted throughout the planet by the World Federation of Trade Unions, and helped the existence of laws that recognize the right to a pension at the end of active working life, laws that were progressively extended to many countries of the 5 continents. The World Federation of Trade Unions was the great protagonist of these victories of the working class, especially in the 2 decades after the Second World War. In any case, this remains a battle not definitively won. We must continue to demand what our slogan affirms, as the International Union of Trade Unions, approved at our first Congress. Our slogan says emphatically, long and decent life for pensioners, and this dignified life is only possible if retired people receive a sufficient pay or pension. The true universal solution, for the aforementioned objective of dignified life, is public pensions, prohibiting the fraudulent business of private ones, as the Parliament of Bolivia has decided. An example that all states on the planet should follow to respect Article 25 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, an article that reminds us that it is governments that must ensure decent living conditions for all people, especially children. And for pensioners. It was demonstrated, in the countries that were building socialism, that a decent life was possible for everyone over the age of 60. In them, the public pension allowed them to live with dignity. The same thing still happens today in countries that do not accept capitalism as an economic system, countries that do not obey the International Monetary Fund, countries that try to build a society without labor exploitation. I am referring to Cuba, China, Vietnam, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and Laos. As you know, but the spokesmen of capitalism hide from saying it and propagating it. In these countries you do not see elderly people removing garbage to find food, nor do you see them sleeping on the street, as can be seen in New York, London, or Paris. In these countries, healthcare is public, free, and of quality, which does not happen what thousands of pensioners in the United States experience every day, who have to decide whether to buy food or buy medicine, since they do not have money for both things. Comrades. As you have just heard, I have cited 4 Asian countries as examples of treatment of pensioners that is different from that given to their citizens by countries that obey the International Monetary Fund. This Asian conference must know how to take advantage of these experiences of nearby countries, of countries on the same continent, so that the majority of the population of Asia knows how to distinguish between social realities that prioritize the well-being of people, versus capitalist societies that they put the economic and selfish benefit of their leaders as their only priority. This is how it is understood that today 1% of the world's population accumulates more wealth than the remaining 99%. This is a clear example of the great injustice that capitalism is. This injustice, which causes thousands of deaths daily due to lack of food or medicine, will only cease to exist if the countries that do not obey the International Monetary Fund advance in their alliances and mutual aid agreements, dispensing with and preventing intervention. In its economic management of the United States and the European Union. The recent advances of the G77 plus China, recently meeting on the revolutionary island of Cuba, together with the agreements made by the BRICS group, meeting in South Africa, show us that another world is possible, a world without capitalism. It is shown that, if the wealth that we generate among all people were distributed fairly, there would be enough money for all people to have a dignified life in the final stage of their lives. As a World Federation of Trade Unions, we continue and will continue to carry out a great and long struggle against capitalism, in its current imperialist stage, a struggle that must know how to use the information that demonstrates the superiority of socialism and communism, as forms of collective functioning. Furthermore, the United States, the European Union, and other imperialist countries give priority to their historical attitude as colonizers and exploiters of the resources of other countries. To do this they need increasingly powerful armies. They are even creating private companies that educate in the use of weapons of war and then sell the military capacity of their employees, who are professional soldiers, as those of the Middle Ages were, to anyone. Imperialist country, so that it can impose itself militarily anywhere on the planet. The imperialists spend multi-million-dollar figures on weapons and wars, but instead they say that they do not have the money to pay for pensions, healthcare, education, housing, etc. That is, the basic needs to be able to live with dignity. In short, one more lie. Capitalism continues to rely on lies that too many people believe to be true because the bourgeoisie media repeats them thousands of times. Comrades, another scourge of the capitalist system is the great discrimination that women, in general, suffer. Data shows that women's pensions are on average 30 to 40% lower than men's, also. In the former Soviet Union, it was already proven possible and feasible, more than 100 years ago, to end the shameful discrimination suffered by women in the area of pensions. Comrades, to finish this greeting, I want to tell you about the new slogan of our international union, complementary to the one we already approved in our first Congress. This slogan says that pensioners and retirees, we are no-cost-to society, given that we have paid our pensions with what we have contributed, while we were active workers, for decades. Furthermore, in our third Congress we will remember that pensioners continue to contribute to society the main values that we have as a collective: wisdom, experience, balance, the ability to judge and give advice, and above all a great will to help the people who need it most. Young people need it, starting with our direct descendants. We also plan, at our third Congress of the International Union of Pensioners and Retirees, to strengthen the collective leadership of our organization. To date, 3 comrades from India, 1 from Nepal, and another from Cambodia have appeared in it. In our third Congress we are going to incorporate new comrades, always based on the criterion that in addition to being experienced unionists, veteran defenders of the working class in their life as unionists, representatives of active workers, they are people willing and able to dedicate the time necessary to organize pensioners and retirees. Knowing how to organize people when they have stopped being directly exploited by employers is essential for our demands to become acquired rights, normally. This organization is easier and more consolidated if it is done based on the place where retired people live. People are living longer and longer, especially if public health works, and for this reason, before the International Labor Organization, where leaders, businessmen and union members from all over the planet meet, we remember every year that people over 60 years we are on our way to being 20% of the world's population. We are, in the International Labor Organization, every year, since the creation of our International Union of Trade Unions, the only voice that demands the rights and demands of pensioners. There in Geneva we remember that we are approximately 30% of the people with the right to vote in political elections, and that we will continue to unite this force with that of the working class willing to fight to end capitalism and imperialism. The rejection, in many African countries, of the presence in them of the former colonizing metropolises, must extend to the entire planet. As a World Trade Union Federation, we will continue to support these struggles as the WFTU already supported them in 1945, when these countries, like many in Asia, were still colonies controlled by Great Britain, Belgium and France. Also in America and Asia, as a World Trade Union Federation, we will continue organizing the working class, both the active one that works every day, and the passive one, the pensioners and retirees, to put an end to the exploitation of people for exclusive benefit of the leaders of capitalism. Comrades, our fight is long, but it advances and will advance if we improve our organization. And with this second Asia conference you are contributing to it, just as the other regional conferences of our international union have helped. Continue your fight, remain united with the working class of the rest of the planet. Long live the working class. Long live proletarian internationalism. Long live the unit of struggle of the pensioners. Long live the World Trade Union Federation.
Honorable President, Presidium, and respected Comrade Shiv Gopal Mishraji, and Comrade Sri Kumar, and Comrade K. Raghavendra, and other comrades on the dais. Comrades, I, being the part of the Presidium, as well as on behalf of AIPRPA, like to speak a very few words. Time limit is very short, so keeping in mind in that portion also, I like to place a few words on this August House. In the meantime, actually, we have got our secretary's coordinator's report also. So before he placing it, I have gone through it. So first of all, I like to support on behalf of AIPRPA that report in toto.
Dear comrades,
So after my speech, he will read out all these reports. So you say, comrade, AIPRPA being an affiliate of TUI pensioners and retirees, and for its better functioning and its for improvement, this conference, I think it is a opportunity for us to discuss the issues. This is the first time in India, and this is first time for us also. We could participate this Trade Union International Pensioners Retirees. So, though it is a very shocking for us, you see, so many countries are affiliated to Trade Union International's Pensioners Retirees. And most of those countries, as we know from the news and other sources, they are also attacked by the global policy. Even then, their participation in the first regional conference, Asia regional conference in Nepal, as well as India today here, we have an expectation that we could know so many things from other country delegates, office bearers of Trade Union Internationals, pensioners and retirees, but we deprived from that. Even then, particularly, I thank to Nepal comrades and Sri Lankan comrades. They came here and make it successful partially, because our expectation was more and more. Our Pakistan, Bangladesh, China, Cuba, all those countries, if they came here, that may have given us so many opportunity to know those countries' position and their pensioners' systems, what was their situation in their country also. That may help us to go ahead in future. However, in our country, in India, what are the problems we are facing? That was narrated by our leaders in the first session, inaugural sessions, and those are sitting here. They are also representing the various organizations. So it is very much aware what was the situation in India, not only in pensioners' condition, what is the political situation, and what is our trade union situation, how we are fighting. Everything is very much aware by all the comrades. So I will not go through on that line. My feeling is that representative of WFTU particularly office bearer from this country, India, they can help us. I feel, this is my feeling on behalf of AIPRPA, to improve the functioning, development, and whatever weaknesses we are feeling at present situation, they can help us in future days so that we can come together in more unitedly with all other states of this Asian region. So, you see, we have 2 vice president and 2 deputy secretary general, 4 from India. So, if they can help us, we will be more benefited to make our trade union international pensioners and retirees in Asian region particularly. So, here in India, in all occasions, AIPRB is sincerely committed to participate all the programs of trade union internationals, pensioners and retirees, as well as whatever calls comes from our own country, central trade unions, pension associations, under the banner of NCCP, we are implementing all the programs. So we feel that, and we assure that in near future days also, AIPRPA is totally committed sincerely to implement all the programs in coming days also for overcome all the issues before us, and whatever struggle comes in near future. In the meantime, everybody knows, under the banner of NCCPA, we participated last few months so many programs. Finally, at Parliament March also, and not only in Parliament, in other programs also, other central government and this program, there also our pensioners participation not less. Particularly, I can say our AIPRPA throughout the country, in every occasion, we are participating everywhere. So I feel, if at least in India, as because we are sitting most of us from Indian representative, so we can lead the trade in international Asian region also by our united strength only. So, comrade, my request, our leadership of World Federal Trade Union, they will guide us. Today, Comrade Sigmar, he has given a space. But our expectation, what is the situation of other countries, that we should be reflected in this conference. Because next December we are going to meet our national, our All India Conference of NCCPA. There we can discuss our pensions issues of our own countries. But here is the trade union internationals. We need to discuss what is the position of other countries and what is the difference, and those countries are better than us and those countries are back fighting for their own struggle, how we can unite and how we can go ahead. So in that line we should discuss, and report is nice one. I think after our conference ending, our one declaration also will be there. We will discuss, and our constitutional organizations also will discuss. I am very much thankful to the Kerala comrades, particularly Kerala state. They finally organized very nicely this Trade Union International for the first time in India, and their hospitality on all arrangements they make in a very good manner. So on behalf of AIPRPA, I thanks all of them. Thank you, comrades. Thank you. Yes, comrade. Now I request Comrade K. Raghavendra. He is the coordinator of Trade Union International and he is the Secretary General of NCCPA. So I request him to place the report. Thank you, comrade.
Comrade Shivagopal Mishra ji, Comrade Sri Kumar ji, and other senior leaders, including the reception committee General Secretary Comrade K. Jayaraj. Comrade Devnath has given, before my placing the report, he has given a picture about the report. Okay. But I will not read the report, and I will not touch all the aspects of the report. I leave the country-wise, whatever is written in the report is left to the individual delegates to accept it or modify it or change it by your experience. We have given the report based on our experience. So we request you, the delegates of international and Indian delegates to come here after the presentation of the report formally, come here and within the stipulated time kindly try to speak only about your country. Don't try to talk about other country and take more time. That way the time will be shortened. So the president will also interfere. So kindly restrict yourself about the narration of your country and the report based upon your country. That way the time will be saved. So I am not going to touch about any of the paragraphs mentioned in this report about the individual countries. Only certain general observations. Comrade, WFTU or the Federation of the World Federation first thought of forming a separate TUI for pensioners and retirees. The timing was very correct because the attack was not only on the labor laws, the attack of the governments of different countries were not only on the working class rights. Okay. They were trying to attack the pension and social security also, starting from Chile experience. Almost all the countries in the world after the collapse of socialist bloc, comrade, whether this is politics or no politics I do not know, but the fact is, unless there is a socialist bloc, our pension and social security are not safe. That is proven beyond doubt. Until the socialist bloc was in place, only after the socialist revolution in Russia in 1917 was successful, many European countries and their colonies, they introduced pension, and that is the reality. Once the socialist bloc is disintegrated, all the rights of the employees, all the rights of the pensioners are being attacked one by one. This is the reality. So from this you can draw your conclusion. Whether socialist bloc is necessary, whether socialism is necessary to defend our pension, etc., that I leave to your imagination. But the fact is that the WFTU had thought it out, that in the era of liberalization, not only the labor laws, labor rights are being attacked, and also even the pensioners' rights, pension and social security are under severe attack. Therefore, the WFTU thought that it is high time to form a trade union international, as they have different trade union international for different sectors in the world. Similarly, they thought it fine to form a separate trade union international for pensioners. But while forming so, they decided not only for pensioners and retirees. Very thoughtful move of the World Federation of Trade Unions. They thought it out very deeply, not only for pensioners, because the retiring section are more than the pensioning section. The world is such, under the name of corporatization and contractization, many industries are today turning towards contractorization. Only contract employment are employed, not regular employment, even in the private sector. Even the government sector, which is supposed to be the model employer of the entire economy, now they are resorting to contractorization, and even in government departments in many places, only contractor employees, contract basis, they are employing people. So, comrades, The WFT thought that retirees are more in number unless the retirees are also organized along with the pensioners, we cannot advance. Number one. Number two, the WFTU not only formed the Trade Union International of Pensioners and Retirees, it also started organizing continent-wise meetings. Asia, America, Africa, Europe, like that. Continent-wise pensioners organization started meeting. Our first conference was in Kathmandu, Nepal, where a beautiful conference was organized by the Nepal comrades. Very fine comrades. Only, unfortunately, only 3 comrades from India could participate in that conference. Comrade K.G. Jayaraj, Comrade K.K.N. Kuti and myself. Only these 3 comrades were present. Comrade Nambudri cannot come at that time. But anyway, it was a very fine conference. And the conference in Kathmandu ended with a declaration. As we are also proposing a declaration, Thiruvananthapuram declaration at the end of the conference, it is also in your report. Kindly go through the report and while you speak, try to enrich that report also. Comrade, in Nepal, we have taken certain tasks. What is the basic task? The basic task that we assigned in Kathmandu was that before the next World Conference, not the Bogota Conference, Colombia, because the conference was very nearer to Bogota. Now our task is to review whether we have advanced after the Kathmandu Declaration. What was the main objects of the Kathmandu Declaration? Number one, throughout the countries in the region, we should spread the word and we should be able to organize effectively the calls of the Trade Union International Pensioners and Retirees. Whether we are able to do that, we have no report. Many countries we have no report. Many countries are silent on that. We try to contact them. We send emails to them. Comrade Sri Kumar also has sent emails to them from the WFTU. But many mails are returning undelivered. So we cannot contact many countries. What is happening in many countries, we have given from our own experience, from the internet, from other sources. We have collected and we have given the report, which you are going to improve upon it. But comrades, we have taken a declaration in Kathmandu. According to Kathmandu Declaration, in all countries of the region, that is Asia Pacific region, we should be able to organize effectively the call of the TUI P&R, especially on the World Pensioners Day, that is today. Today is 1st October. Even though we are here, all the leaders are here. In India, I can tell you very frankly, in each and every country under our region, so that the call of the TUI P&R for 1st October, because 1st October is highlighting the demands of the pensioners and retirees. We are highlighting decent pension, decent life. What is decent life? What is decent pension? What is medical care? After 60, whether we like it or not, many diseases come to us. Because of that only we are fighting. So decent medical care is necessary after 60 only. Similarly, many problems of transportation, potable water, all are not available to us. So we want a decent life for the pensioners and retirees. This decent life demand is to be highlighted in all the world. But the corporates of the countries who are not at all interested, they are interested in only in furthering their own interest. They influence the governments through the financial institutions of world, through the financial institutions of the country, that only their interest should be taken care of. The government should not worry about the pensioners, the government should not worry about the working class, the government should not worry about the common man, but only their interests are supreme. So the government after government in all the countries are taking such laws that help only the corporates of the world and not the common man of the country. So we have to analyze to what extent we are able to grow. That is very important in this conference. You delegates, when you come to speak, kindly inform us to what extent you are able to implement the calls of the TUI, the calls of the WFTU, because it is very important. Unless you agitate, nothing is going to change. Unless we agitate, nothing is going to change. Our agitation is important. Maybe we don't have the strike weapon in our hands, but along with the working class, build a strong unity. Kathmandu resolution, Kathmandu declaration also said we should build a strong unity with the working class of the country. Are we building a strong unity with the working class? Yes. It is after a struggle only. It is not easy because, as correctly pointed out by the speakers here, that when we try to build a unity with the working class of the country, immediately some intellectual people try to depict us as politicians. Politics is not necessary. Comrade Baby has very correctly said so many things about politics. Whether you like it or not, politics will not leave you. That is what he told us. So similarly, there are intellectuals amongst us in the trade union movement who try to preach us that don't try to bring politics by joining the central trade unions. So comrades, only by joining with the working class of the country, we will be able to. We are not running a paper organization. Pensioners unions are not paper organization. We are not paper organization. We are not running. We are Trade Union International Pensioners and Retirees, or the NCCPA, or the affiliated unions in India, or the affiliated unions of TUI in different countries are not paper unions. They are struggling, they are uniting with the working class of that particular country and try to project the demands of the pensioners and retirees to the extent possible. But comrades, you should come, while you come before the mic, try to project what is the need, what is the growth, what is the future necessity. Otherwise, comrade, the pension and other social security as available today, because we are going to meet in the World Congress in Greece. We know the condition of Greece. In Greece, 17 times, mark it, 17 times the pension was reduced. Not one time or two times. In India, even the dearness relief is delayed by some days. We will receive phone calls from our members. Many organizations experience it. What about my DA? What about my dearness relief? Every July to September we should receive. Now today we are in October. No order has come. So we will receive phone calls. What happened to my dearness relief? It is already 3 months. What are you doing? So this is the condition. But in Greece, 17 times the pension was reduced. I asked our president of TUI in Nepal. I asked him, I heard that 5 times the pension was reduced in Greece, and what is the agitation that you are launching in Greece? Then Demos, our president, honorable president of TUI P&R in Kathmandu said, not 5 times, 17 times. Then only I got the news that 17 times the pension was reduced in Kathmandu, in Greece. Not only that, pensioners were found sitting before the ATMs for days together. They do not know when their pension will be credited in their account, so they can withdraw from the ATM and take it to the money. Many pensioners jumped from the high places and committed suicide in Greece. Comrade, is there any guarantee that what happened in Greece will not happen to any of the Asian countries? Are we strong economies in Asia? No. We are also subservient to European and Western economies. Our economies are not so strong. So naturally, at any time, what happened in Greece may happen in other countries also. So we are to be very, very, very careful, and we should not hesitate to join with the working class of the country and try to build a strong, united front with the working class, and we should be able to organize agitations along with the working class. Comrade, I will tell you one thing. In India, there is a JCM staff side. Our Shivagopal Mishraji is the JCM staff side secretary. And Comrade Sri Kumar, he is also in the standing committee of JCM. Earlier, Comrade SK Vyas, Comrade KK and Gutti were also in the JCM standing committee. India, the central government pensioners are getting pension revision along with the employees, that is being ensured by the leaders of the central government employees, not in other places. You take for example banks. What is happening in banks? What is happening in LIC? They may have a stronger union than our central government employees. But in banks and LIC, there is no pension revision as and when the employees get the wage revision. But in central government alone, all the pay commissions, at the same time they are talking about the employees, they talk about the pension division also. So the terms of reference of the pay commissions are seen, that a class is very correctly pointed out that regarding pension division also the pay commission shall function. That is being ensured by the leaders here. So comrades, an applause is not insufficient to them. They require all our appreciation. We thank you, comrades, because this is the type of, and is it not our duty to support their cause when they agitate, when they organize industry-wise? Is it not our duty to stand with them? It is our duty to stand with them. We have to support all the working class actions along with the leaders, because such unity alone can ensure our growth also. Whether you want pension division, whether you want today also JCM, you know the JCM is in India. JCM is joint considered a missionary. They spoke, most of the time they spoke about pension issues only. Many issues today also, comrades Shogopal Mishraji and Sri Kumarji were tried to explain what were the issues they tried to focus before the government in the standing committee. Comrade, can you tell me in which state or which country the government employees or government pensioners, their cause is highlighted before the government like in India? So it is not easy, comrade. So we have to analyze that the task before this conference is that we should be able to, number one, we should be able to implement the TUI P&R calls for pensioners unity, pensioners day, World Pensioners Day in a befitting manner, so to the examples of the world, in European countries and in South American countries, all the calls of TUI and P&R are being implemented very effectively. But not in our region, not in Asia Pacific region, because of our organizational weakness only. So comrades, you will try to speak when you speak here, because we may be ignorant also, because we do not know what is happening in your country, what is happening in other countries also. We try to establish contacts, but we fail. Some comrades said because of the incompetence of K. Raghavendran, maybe it may be by incompetence also. But the reality is that we are not able to establish contacts with the various countries. Various emails are returning to us, so we do not know. Even the WFTU cannot help. We raised it in the meetings, virtual meetings with the TUI P&R, and the General Secretary assured us that we will try to, through WFTU, we will try to intervene. But comrades, I am telling you that because the contacts are feeble, because the contacts are not strong, we are not able to establish that contacts and get the figures from all the countries of the region. And Comrade Devnath also said many countries should have come. Yes, but because of the corona fear, because of other fear, many countries, even last month, Comrade Kimboy's General Secretary had asked us about this bird fever. What about this fever? I said today nobody is wearing any mask here. All are sitting very, very fine. And Comrade Baby was telling, and our other comrades were telling how Kerala is different. Kerala health system is different and all that. But comrade, you know very well that today we are in a position to assess, and we should be able to bring this particular thing before the TUI P&R. Then only the purpose of this conference is over. Not by organizing a conference. Organizing a conference is taking a balance sheet. We should take a balance sheet and report it to the TUI General Secretary and also the WFTU General Secretary, through him, through the General Secretary of TUI, that here is our advance. Here is the advance made by us, because in these countries we are agitating. So comrades, when you come here, kindly try to project that point, and to what extent you have integrated with the working class movement of our country, that point also you kindly deal with here. And regarding your country, we have given paragraphs, and kindly go into the paragraphs. If anything is wrong, kindly correct us. We will correct ourselves. And there are issues on which even in India we are not aware of. Even in India we are not aware. India is a very big country. There are many pensioners. There are vast sections. The 75 lakhs of pensioners under EPF alone, and more than 35 lakh are drawing only 500 rupees per month as pension. 500 rupees is too insufficient. What is 500 rupees nowadays? 500 Indian rupees is nothing. But today, more than 35 lakhs of EPF pensioners in India are getting only 500 rupees per month. Not even 1000 rupees. They are not able to get even the OAPs given outside because they are getting pension in the department. They are not eligible to draw the OAP, old age pension. That is 1000 rupees is given by various states, and in Kerala it is given as 1600 rupees. But we are not eligible because we are drawing a pension of 500 rupees. So this should end. The bank employees should come forward. The bank employees are not getting wage revision. Bank employees are not getting medical facility also. Bank employees are getting medical facility, but not the bank pensioners. Comrade, there is a very big unions are there in banks. But what about their medical requirement? Central government, we get the medical requirement. We are, rightly or wrongly, there may be problems which comrades Shivagopal Mishraji and Sri Kumarji are taking up with the government. We will also take up with the government. But that is different. But there is a system called CGHS in India. We are using it. All the pensioners are today allowed inside the CGHS. And we are able to get whatever treatment is available to the serving employees. Same treatment is available to the pensioners also. But not to the banks. In banks, if you are retired, you have to pay premium. While in service, bank employees need not pay any premium. So there is discrimination between employees and pensioners in the banks. Therefore, comrades, there are so many problems there. We, the NCCPA, which is a member of the Trade Union International, Pensioners and Retirees, along with the AIPRP and AIBDPA, we try to organize a very powerful movement in India, and not only sufficient to organize all the central government pensioners. Not only sufficient to bring, because we are a populous region. Asia Pacific region is most populous in the world. Of all the continents, Asian continent is having more pensioners also. So we should unite all. We should be able to form confederation. We should be able to unite all pensioners, not only central government pensioners, bank pensioners, LIC pensioners, state government pensioners, teacher pensioners, transport pensioners, and electricity board pensioners, metro water pensioners, and all types of retirees shall be united under one banner called Confederation of all pensioners in India and in all your countries. So don't confine your, because comrade, we are, our President Comrade Nambudiri used to say in many meetings that we are retired, but we are not tired. He used to say between 60 and 70 is the most productive age according to American estimates. 70 to 80 is the next productive age according to American estimate. All the prime ministers and all the chief ministers in the world are becoming, there may be exceptions, but generally they become after 60 only. So comrade, up to 60 we learn from our own experience in the respective department of public, how to serve the public, how to be in the common movement, how to work in a trade union movement. We learn lot of experiences. We retire. Next day don't try to sleep in your houses in easy chair, because after 60 our productive age starts. So we should be able to mobilize, and today we are able to come to this conference is a good thing, and we should carry forward. My regarding India is started speaking. Comrades, so I conclude my speech with this appeal. When you delegates come here, kindly speak on these points. How far your country has advanced, how far your agitations are taking place, how far your working class and pensioners unity is established. Kindly give an insight about those points. We will note down all the points and we will report to the Trade Union International and also to the next World Conference in Athens, when shortly we are going to meet in April next year. We will try to project the issues of Asian region, Asia Pacific region correctly to that conference, so that proper conclusions are drawn in the World Conference also. So with these words, I conclude my speech. I present the report for adoption. Thank you, Comrade.